Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues, as tonight we look into an initiative that is looking to develop the performing arts in Botswana. How is this relevant to a business program such as ours? Because art is industry. Despite what we've seen locally with musical greats going to the grave as paupers and visual artists peddling their wares on the streets. We all know that in many countries the arts are the basis for multi-million-dollar industries and support a number of businesses and employ thousands of individuals along the value chain. The music, art and movies from various corners of the world also brand locations we have never physically seen so strongly in our collective consciousness that they draw multitudes of people and millions of dollars to these places every year. The promotion of our own products could definitely help us with our own aspirations of becoming an urban tourism destination. Just a few weeks ago, drawing from his firm understanding that there is still much to be gained from the scores of tourists that throng to our remote natural wonders every year, the Minister of Environment, Wildlife and Tourism, Tekedi Khama, briefed Parliament on current efforts to develop new products and events based on a contemporary urban culture that will go a long way in reinvigorating Gaborone city and injecting much needed urban vibrancy, and therefore establishing Gaborone as a competitive urban tourism destination. Also to be considered and often mentioned by experts from various fields on our program is this crossroads that Botswana finds herself in, needing desperately to diversify from its dependence on diamonds. This is probably the opportune time for less traditional professions to be taken more seriously and promoted. But to dream a new dream is difficult, which is where a project by a local non-profit organization, Dreams Alive Club, in collaboration with American companies FHG Entertainment and Water Walkers Worldwide, supported by the American Embassy, comes into play. Stay with us this evening to find out how. Welcome back to First Issues, as tonight we speak to American performers eager to galvanize local talent and fuel future industries. American performer Raina Joy Banks, who has performed with the likes of Beyonce, Usher and Justin Bieber, first came to Botswana mid-2015 to have dance workshops with local youth. She says the question she saw on most of her students' faces was, "What happens after this? What will I do with a love for dance as a child in Botswana?" And that heart-wrenching question fueled her desire to grow the project into a continuous one, to create opportunities for local talent for all types of art forms. Which is why, with the help of the Dreams Alive Club once again, she was back in December, this time with some friends in tow. We speak to Hollywood actress Brely Evans, who has acted in movies such as Sparkle alongside the late Whitney Houston, Just Right with Common and Queen Latifah, and the series Being Mary Jane with Gabrielle Union. Amber Baker, who has danced for the likes of the Black Eyed Peas, Beyonce and Wiz Khalifa, and featured in the hit television show So You Think You Can Dance. And Raina Joy Banks herself, to hear what their vision and plans to help Botswana grow her creative industries are.
I'm here to plant seeds of passion and destiny in young lives, as well as reignite them in dreams that have been lost in adults' lives, and to really show what we can bring in entertainment arts to Botswana to uplift the culture and to uplift the media and TV and production and all values in that area.
There's a hunger here. And I believe that it's important that kids, from youth to adults, don't stop dreaming. I believe that if we have an answer to someone's dreams, that we have to step in and with faith know that we can help them make those dreams a reality. So that's the most important part to me, is that I don't die knowing that there was a kid, a youth, or an adult that stopped dreaming just because they didn't have access to what we'd have access to.
And my reason for being here and being a part of this entire thing is to realize that we can change the culture. We can broaden perspectives, and we can have minds think differently about a lot of really important, situations through the arts. Music, dance, acting, those things are common throughout the world. This is a place where everyone can understand and come together no matter what language you speak.
Many people reach the peak of their careers and don't even look back. What is it about you that made you want to come to small old Botswana? Why Botswana in particular, and why want to give back in the first place?
When I started my Dance to Live tour, it was in the States mainly, and then it was to go overseas. But with my sis Megan Good, the actress who shouted out the tour, that's how Tepi from Dreams Alive Club found me. So that's how Botswana became the mark, was because Tepi saw that there was a cry here and reached out. And then in that, by faith, I said yes to it. And when I came in April, it was unbelievable, but I knew that it wasn't just for me. I knew that it was for more of us, and that's what happened with bringing Brely and Amber, and then they said yes to the call. So Botswana is the choice, not just by us, but by God, and by the heart of his people and Tepi and Dreams Live Club who said, and the ambassador and the embassy who said, we need this here. And so that's why Botswana deserves the right to be able to live out what they have embedded in their hearts and their spirits.
You must have had some kind of idea as to how this week was going to play out. Did it meet, or were there any surprises? How did it play out in actuality?
It's super exceeded
Yeah.
everything I could have imagined. Living your life as an African American and just wondering, what the quote unquote motherland is like, or just wanting to know our roots. It's always been in the back of our heads. I know I wrote down for my personal goals for 2015, I wrote it down in January that I would speak internationally 3 times this year. Well, let's just say it got all the way to May, June, and I still hadn't gone anywhere yet, and I had my passport with no stamps in it just yet. And Raina gave me a call to say, do you want to go with me to Botswana to, give life back, bring some dreams of the arts back? And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? God has filled me up so far that I'm spewing out and ready to serve and give. So this was just an amazing opportunity to do that. And so we're here.
So you feel like you've planted those seeds you set out to do. Do you worry, or was there concern that there might be something lost in a cultural...
I don't think that anything was lost as far as in translation while we were speaking to them. I think that we planted, even a parent today at our panels told us that her kid walked up to her and said, Mom, remember that story you told us about, she didn't tell us the details, but that story that you told us, go after your dreams, Mom, you can do it. And the mother really felt like it was coming from a deep place.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
Power.
we really brought something to them, and it's embedded. They soaked it up as much as they could as a sponge. And I would say, as far as my expectations here, it succeeded past what I thought it would be. Everyone here was so accepting of us, more accepting than I've ever felt in my entire career.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure that I had enough to give. And they made me realize that I had more than enough.
Yes.
And now I just hope that they will do their part in remembering everything that we've said and told them, and know that we're thinking about them when we're back in the States, and that we're coming back to check on them again, and they'll stay going after their dreams, and they'll stay working even when we're gone. And those seeds and those words are embedded in their heart and their soul, and now turning into destined dreams being fulfilled.
Yes.
Welcome back to First Issues, as tonight we speak to American performers eager to galvanize local talent and fuel future industries. Having been as fortunate as we have been to have some of the best in the industry speak to us this evening, we ask our guests what every aspiring actress, performer and dancer should know about what it takes to become a professional in their relative industries.
I would say, for when it comes to being a professional dancer and actress, whatever it is that you want to do, I believe that it takes passion, it takes power, it takes perseverance, it takes endurance, it takes never giving up. It takes choosing faith over fear, because even in the midst, like we've talked about throughout this whole week, you're gonna get a lot of no's at first. We've all auditioned so many times, and we got a lot of no's first before we got that yes. But the beautiful part of it is that when you get that yes, you know that it was worth the fight. It was worth the push. And that's our main thing for professionals to know. It may not happen overnight, and it may not happen right when you want it to happen, but as long as you keep sowing into your dreams, believing and training and girding yourself up to prepare, I always say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So that when the jobs come and the opportunities come, you are ready, and you are giving us all of you in the midst of booking those projects, booking those jobs, and we don't have to wonder like, did we make the wrong decision? We're like, we made the best decision in our lives, and that is what's here in Botswana. So for the professionals, live out your promise and train as much as you can. There's so much access from YouTube to what we're gonna be doing, sending videos and doing classes and clips and everything. There's so much available to you now more than ever. So take advantage of that, live in it, eat, breathe, and sleep your gift. We all eat, breathe, and sleep our gift, and that's how we've gotten to where we've gotten. So professionals they'll make it. They've already got it. We've seen it in class, so.
Yeah.
I really believe Rena said it all.
She did.
I mean, she really gave all the points. But I would say to quote unquote aspiring actor to stop aspiring.
Yeah, no more aspiring.
No more
you
aspiring.
are.
You are right now.
I
If
am.
you can, yes, your I ams.
Yeah.
Remember that what was placed inside of you was not placed there by you, and you have something that if you don't do it, somebody else is going to suffer. So your gift is not just your own.
you,
Like
yeah.
if we don't, as an actor, tell these stories, then perhaps someone could be fallen by the wayside because they didn't hear this story that you needed to tell. So it's crucial. It's detrimental if we don't get this done.
There's businesses, there's promotions that we need to be doing. Who are the people in the commercials, the actors? Who are the dancers selling the product, singing the songs in all of these businesses that are getting those products out there and giving them a face of the product to look at, a loving, warming face of those products. So, we are not just making money for ourselves, but we're making money for our community, we're making money for our country, and we're trying to bring that together as one in a love of each person's passion. If your passion is business, then great, go after it. But if your passion is in the arts, then go after that and find the business in your arts so that we can all work together, cultivating and uplifting for us all.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest mistakes most dancers do in trying to actualize their dream? And what do you think the biggest no-nos actresses do when trying to make a name for themselves?
I'll just start off because this is my mistake that I made in the beginning, is comparing yourself to the next or the person next to you, or thinking that because that person made it faster than you, that you won't. I had to realize that my career as a dancer, it did take off quickly enough for me to realize that this is where I was going. However, there were moments when I got jobs as a choreographer sooner than I got jobs as a dancer, and I wasn't sure why. And I was like, well, I'm not done dancing, and I want to go on tour like that girl went on tour. But what I had to do was realize that my path is my path. And now because I took that role as a choreographer, I am now able to be here really living in the purpose that's in my heart and taking these young dancers and showing them what their next steps are. And I couldn't have done that had I said no to my steps and my opportunities that came. So stay in your lane, keep your eyes here. If you are gonna look to the left or right, do it with support and do it with pulling in things to help you succeed, to be the better you, not to be like her or like
better
him
than.
or better
That's
than,
not a-
but just the better you, and staying focused, because as you're walking, if you look backwards, you're
Slows
gonna
you
miss
down.
what's in front of you.
Right.
Stay forward and focus on you.
The worst thing, and I've taught this in my class all week long, the worst thing you can do as an actor is not tell the truth. If you don't find the truth in the story, the truth within yourself to convey that story, then you have failed your audience. That is, again, crucial, detrimental to
Acting
what
is
we're
not
trying
acting.
to do. Look, I got a new actor right here.
I was listening.
Acting is not acting. Acting is telling the truth. And what comes from the heart, we know these sayings, reaches the heart. So our purpose here is to, like I said, create legacy, change destinies, change directions, save someone's life, for God's sake. Someone could decide, today I'm going to commit suicide, but see a program and they say, today is not the day.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone. Somebody else is going through this. Or you know what? I didn't think about life with that perspective. So this is so important. This is so important.
Do not compromise. The biggest mistake a lot of dancers make to get on the up and up and get the quick way instead of the hard-working, blood, sweat, and tears way is they'll compromise. They'll take on opportunities or jobs that are actually less than what they rightfully deserve and what they're owed. And knowing your morals, my number one thing that I teach a lot of professionals is that you've got to have your morals set way before you even make it in the business. even before you step into the business, you should have the things that you won't do, the things that you will do, the things that you are willing to step into or that you're not willing to step into. You have to know even as actors, you have to know your limits.
boundaries.
Know what you're gonna do, know what you're not gonna do, no matter how big the check is. Stand firm on what your morals are, what you believe in. Do not compromise, because when you don't compromise, that's when the bigger comes quicker. When you compromise, that's when the littles keep coming, and the bigger doesn't come as quick, or maybe sometimes not at all, because you said, I'm not enough for that, I'm just gonna do what I can get right now, versus being patient and waiting and working that gift and trusting the process and trusting God that His best will come in the time when you're ready to receive it.
From what you've seen so far, how would you say the challenges compare for performers locally and in the States?
I think the challenges are actually similar,
Yeah.
to be very
That's funny.
honest.
Same, yeah.
I mean, even in the States, new artists think that there are no opportunities for me. My parents said education only. I mean, there's a common thread that binds us all, that weaves us all together. So with that, we're saying, hey, it doesn't matter where you are. This can be the new Hollywood. You know, it doesn't matter. It's who decides to rise up, who decides to make the mark. So I believe that the students that we've touched right now have decided to make that mark here in Botswana.
And here, because things aren't already cultivated and brought up, there's not a big, performance and entertainment business happening here. For me, I look at it as so much inspiration. There's so much to grow and to build from. We don't have to knock down anything that's already been placed. We don't have to change people's minds or ways. All we have to do is create the new and create the up and coming. So we're just going to keep building with you guys from our knowledge that we have. But there's a lot back in the States that, maybe we don't want to keep working in or keep cultivating in. We want to change the aspect of dancing and acting and the face of entertainment for the good and for the better and for the prosperous.
And I will say this, is it was a word that I was given before I moved to Atlanta, and it was that we are called to stir up a revival through the arts and entertainment, to heal what's been broken and to restore what's been lost. Some people that went before us got caught up with the fame and fortune and was focusing on I, me. So God is sending a new remnant of people to literally change that and do exactly what He desired, which is to literally restore and create unity and a movement that literally cannot be broken. Because the more the numbers of true hearts and true presence of people that really are fighting for the entertainment, the less we're easy to be broken. If you see a front line of an army that's like linked like this, there's no way that you can get through this. There's no way you can break this. So imagine when it's just 3, imagine when there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to hundreds and thousands. And this country is 2.5 million of a population. Imagine if all those people backed the arts and entertainment, what we could do to the world, not just Botswana. What we could realize to the States and say, look, this is what happens when you don't compromise. This is what happens when you stand true on your morals. And our Pledge of Allegiance has so many morals in it, but it's like we've lost it. And so what we want to do is we want to restore that and bring life to it and say, it works when you still do it right. It works, it gains popularity, it gains exposure and love and passion when you do it right. And when you make family the focus and not the world, but family and love and the kids and the youth and the adults.
From what you've seen, I know you said you watched a few African movies on the way here, and you said there was some acting needed a bit of tweaking here and there, and you've gotten to see some of our local dancers. Some may have been dancing as long as you have, maybe with less training. But what do you think makes the biggest difference with regards to the quality of artists we're currently producing?
We said the word. I think it's just the training.
Yes.
Because what you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
And so with the movies that I watch, I love the content and the storyline. But when I can't compare apples with the movies, because just the picture quality, the sound, the picture, the lights, the set, all those little details, the editing, all those, details that.
And
make
is that
our
a question of
movies
skill
blockbusters.
or money?
I think it may be a little bit of both. Yes, a little bit of both, because if you had the money, I'm sure people from the States would not mind coming over shooting your movies for you. So that's where we bridge the gap. That's what we do, bridge the gap.
Yeah, and I do think, because from what we've heard, there is a lot of high-end technology here.
Yes.
And there's a lot, so I think more so than the money, it's the training, again,
use
as Brely
it,
said,
yeah.
to know how to use it and to know how to go from a scene in editing. See, you can shoot something amazing, but if the editor is not fully educated on the different avenues of how to edit something and different shots
It
and to pair them
loses.
together, you can lose the power of what was shot.
Yes.
So it is, at the end of the day, I believe it's the training. It's more so the training than the finances. If you're trying to bring people over, then yes, it is the finance. But if you're working from home,
what
like
you
here
have.
with what you have, what you guys have some state-of-the-art stuff, it's a matter of just bringing some production people over here to train them in the editing process, the color correction process of editing, the angles, how to go in and transition from one scene to the next, from this angle back here to this angle up here at the same time. That's really all it is. I believe it's more of the training than anything, because you guys aren't lacking in that. You're lacking in knowing how and what, when, where, and why, and even at the time of the day. You know what I mean? Just different things that are very important that we've learned from being in front of the camera and sometimes
And
behind the
behind.
camera.
I think that's the one thing that I love so much about dance in my career is that every job, including this one here in Botswana, I'm consistently growing as a performer and I'm consistently learning. So when the opportunities aren't there for the artist, it's hard for them to go anywhere to see anything. I had several dancers tell me, Amber, how do you move from hitting to slow? How do you have that dynamic in it? But they didn't even know there was such thing as dynamic till they saw me dance. So, you know, they're watching it from far away, sometimes on YouTube or on the internet, but really to have it up close and personal
broken
and see
down.
somebody looking them straight in the eye as a person. I'm a real person here, able to do it, shows them that they can get somewhere. I've also told them lots of stories of how I've learned. I brought them a video of my mentor, Dave Scott, who has mentored me and taught me a lot. I showed them him talking to them, and just them seeing that connection shows them that it's a reality for them. And I think that pushes the mind farther and brings them into the idea of like, oh, the skill
can be
is
me.
in me and I can make it happen.
Performers all over the world dream of furthering their ambitions in Hollywood, but it appears that Hollywood is making its way slowly to our corner of the world. I trust that the country and all of you watching at home cannot wait to enjoy all that will come from these passionate women's effort. Until next week and another issue of interest, I, Nameto Samakula, the team behind First Issues, and our sponsors, First National Bank, wish you a good night and pleasant viewing.